Guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video of a makeup tutorial. I have done a makeup tutorial before, which is an Indian wedding guest makeup look. I would leave it in the I button so you can totally check it out if you want. But for today's video, I am going to be creating this look right here, which is a dewy makeup wearable look. So if you want to know how to recreate this look, then please keep on watching. Do stick to me till the end and let's go. So the first step towards getting glowing and dewy skin is proper preparation of your skin before you apply makeup, which means that no matter what kind of look you're going for and no matter what your skin type is, it is a must to prep your skin well so that makeup can glide on your skin like butter. And especially if you're looking for a very dewy and juicy makeup look, it is really important for you to moisturize and prep your skin well. So I have very oily skin, as I've said in almost all my videos. And even though I have oily skin, it is a must for me too to use a moisturizer. And for today's video, I am going to use this Face Shop Chia Seed Moisturizer, which looks like this. This is the lotion. This is the hydrating lotion. This is the older version. The brand has discontinued this because they have come up with a new version of the chia seed range, which is their pink range, which contains the vitamin B12. But let's just keep that aside. And yeah, for today's dewy look, I'm going to use this lotion on my face. So I'll be taking one and two pumps of this lotion, which is almost like this. And to be honest, this lotion is not that heavy, or it's really hydrating, so you can use it no matter what. It's meant for all skin types. And even though I have oily skin, I like using this moisturizer a lot because it just hydrates my skin like anything. As you can see, it immediately added that glow, and I love my skin, how it looks when I apply this moisturizer. And what I like to do is I just like to pat the moisturizer into my skin, and I would wait for about 2 to 3 minutes for the moisturizer to sink in so that the makeup can glide in really easily. So let's wait for 2 to 5 minutes and I'll be right back. So the moisturizer has been sitting on my skin for a couple of minutes, and let's move to moisturizing the lips. And for moisturizing my lips before I start doing my makeup is really important for me, and it is important for you as well. And I'll be using the Laneige lip sleeping mask. I like using this mask a lot. I have an entire detailed review, and I would be linking that video in the I button so you can check it out if you want. This is how it looks like, and I've used quite a bit of it. So while my lips are just getting hydrated and getting all plumped and juicy for the lipstick, let's move on to the primer. And for primer, I have two of them with me. One is the pore minimizing or the skin blurring one, and one is meant for the redness on my skin. So this is the Lakme Absolute Blur Perfect Primer. I have been using this for quite some time now, and I really like using it. So I would just be taking this much amount, and since this is a blurring primer, what I like to do is I would just massage it in between my fingers, and I would apply it where I feel like my skin needs a bit blurring effect. I wouldn't apply it on all over my face because we're going for a dewy look. So I would only apply it on the center of my face. And I just like to go in circular motions and then pat it so that it is even more effective. So I've applied this primer. The next one is this NYX Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer. Now this is a color correcting primer, which means this is a green colored primer. So if there is any redness on my skin, it would just cancel that redness out. And if you can see, I have quite a bit of redness and pimples over here. So I would just apply it on that area. This is a really good primer. I like using them both a lot, like in combination together. So as you can see, my skin still feels a lot glowy and a lot dewy, like it hasn't mattified at all. The next step is foundation, and for today's look I have with me the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. This is a 2-in-1 foundation, which means that it has concealer and foundation in it. So you can skip concealer if you want, and I'm in the shade 05 Warm Beige, and this is a really good primer, foundation if you are looking for that glowy and dewy finished look. So what I'll do is I'll just shake this, and since this comes with a pump, it becomes really easy for me to use it. So what I'll do is I'll just directly apply it on my skin. I wouldn't use a bit, I would just use a bit, not more, because we are not going for that full coverage look. So I would just dot it on my face like that. I haven't applied so much, if you can see. There's not much of the foundation. I honestly don't mind my acne scars or anything peeking out, because that is how my skin is and I don't have any issues with my skin. And for the foundation brush, I have with me the Oriflame F03 brush. This is the foundation brush. I really like this brush. This is a very flat brush. So with this foundation brush, I would just spread the foundation which I've applied, like so. And this foundation melts and blends into the skin very nicely and very easily, as you can see. So I'm just spreading it. I'm actually not blending it. So I like to take this foundation in particular under my eyes as well, and a bit onto my neck. And this foundation is just the perfect match to my skin. I still have this dewy and glowy look, which I am dying for. I honestly love the glowy and dewy makeup look, even though I have oily skin. Who said oily skin people cannot have dewy and glowing makeup? So the foundation has almost blended in really beautifully. I don't even feel the need to blend it anymore. I just was spreading it and it just got spreaded very easily. You can totally build up the coverage if you want, but I'll stop it right here. This foundation anyway has a medium coverage, and you can still see through my acne scars over here. I really don't mind, because we are going for a very dewy look, as I said. But if you want, you can go with another layer of foundation, totally up to you. You can do whatever you want. And now I'll take a damp beauty sponge, and what I'll do is I'll take the butt of the sponge and I'll just start blending this in. I am not dragging the foundation. I am only pushing it into my skin. This will make sure that everything is just blended in very seamlessly, and there are no patches or the foundation doesn't cake up or anything. Just keep blending and blending and blending. So the foundation is blended and it's time to powder the face. I won't suggest you powdering the entire face. Even if you have oily skin, if you are going for a very natural and very dewy look, I wouldn't recommend you powdering the entire face. And even if you want to just go it with very, very, very light hands. And for powdering, I'm going to use this Lakme 9 to 5 Primer Plus Matte Powder Foundation. This is how it looks like. And this is how it looks like in actual. I've already hit the pan. There is only a bit left. So I would be taking my Oriflame F02 brush. I don't really like using a separate powder brush because it's really very big and very fluffy. So this is an angular brush and it's really good for reaching the under eye areas. So I would just be swirling the brush onto the pan, and I've got a very little bit. I would dust off the excess. It's very important to dust off the excess powder or any powder products in general. And what I'll do is I'll just look up and set my under eyes. I'll take a bit more and I'll set my T-zone just like that, so that it doesn't crease. And if you really are sweaty and if you tend to sweat a lot, or if you're living in a very hot and humid climate, and if you want to set your entire face, all you can do is just with very light hands, just powder your face like so. Don't take away all the glowiness from your face, because this is a very mattifying powder and you don't want your face to just mattify like that. My skin is still glowy, and if you feel that your face isn't glowy enough, it doesn't look glowy enough, what you can do is take your moisturizer or lotion or whatever you've applied, just take few drops like so and massage it in between your fingers. Apply it on your face again with very light hands. This is a trick to get back the dewiness. Can you see? This will also make sure that the powder and the foundation and everything just gets mashed. See, the dewiness and the glowiness came back again. So this is a really cool hack. So if you want to try it out, you can definitely do that. Now the next step is bronzing up my face. I don't really like heavy contours. So what I like to do is I just take a warm toned bronzing powder, and for today I have the Sugar Contour de Force mini bronzer in the shade 02 Woody Wonder. This is how the outer packaging looks like, and this is a mini version. This is how the bronzer actually looks like. It's very dirty because I've used it quite a lot. And the thing with this bronzer is that it tends to have a lot of fallout. You'll see in a while. I'm taking the same brush, the F02 brush, because I don't like to use different brushes for my powder, my blush, my bronzer. I just like to use the same brush. So I would just dip in a bit, and it's really pigmented, if you can see. And I would just dust off the excess. And what I like to do is I would just stamp in the bronzer like so, keeping the brush at an angle. Can you see? Can you see how pigmented that is? Now I would repeat the same thing on the other side. This has a lot of fallout. Can you see that? See? Did you see that? There's so much fallout. This bronzer is really pigmented, but it just has so much fallout that I tend to stay away from it somehow. I don't know why. Then I would go and contour my jawline. Don't worry if this looks very sharp. I haven't blended it, I just stamped it. I would also apply a bit on my hairline. I would push everything inside, don't worry. I know it looks very sharp, very stark, but it would all go. Then for contouring the nose, I like to just hold my brush like this so that it becomes, the bristles become all in line, and I would pick up the same bronzer, dust off the excess, and contour my nose like so. Make sure that you connect it with your eyebrows or it would just look too sharp lines on your nose. Then I would take my beauty blender again and I would just push this inside my skin. Okay, if you heard that, that was my cat. Now let's move on to blush. I would again take the same brush for the blush, and for the blush I have the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Berry Amore, and this is how it looks like. I really like Milani's blushes. This is how it looks like. This blush is really pretty, and for makeup looks like this, when you have to create a very dewy and a very nice juicy kind of skin, these blushes, the Milani blushes, are really good because they have a kind of sheen in them. Can you see? They have these, not glitter, but very fine shimmery particles which would just make your skin look even more dewy. The thing is, you have to make sure that you don't apply it on textured skin or it would just emphasize your texture even more. I also like to apply it on my nose. This is not a very pigmented blush, to be honest, so I have to really dig in a lot to get the pigment out. I really don't know what is wrong with this blush. There's not much pigment on it. I am not sure what's wrong. Okay, so since that blush wasn't really pigmented, or I don't know what was wrong with it, I think it has expired or something and I should really get rid of it because there's no pigment out of it. Anyway, I would be using this Deborah Milano's blush in the shade 05 Cherry, and it really is a very pretty blush. It has this cherry color, matches the background. But yeah, this is really pigmented and I really like using this blush. This too has some shimmer particles, if you can see. I don't know if you can see, but I would take the same brush or just dig in a bit, tap off the excess, would go all over my cheeks. I just smile and go all over my cheeks. Can you see that sheen? And I really like to push the blush into my contour so it all looks very seamless. I think I've gone a bit overboard with the blush. So I would again take my beauty sponge and I'll just blend everything out. Don't worry, even if there's extra, you can always tone it down with a makeup fixer at the end. But I honestly like using blush a lot because blush is the makeup product which tends to fade away the most. So I don't mind blushing a bit extra. Now it's time for highlighter, and for a dewy look, I would suggest you to first use an illuminator, which means liquid highlighter. So I have with me the L'Oreal Too Much Lumi Liquid Glow Illuminator in the shade W101 Golden Door. This has golden reflexes and they look really very pretty. So I would just take this much amount and I would dot it on the highest points of my face like so. I'll take a bit more and I would just blend it with my finger first. Can you see how dewy it looks? So once that is done, I would take my beauty blender again. I would just blend everything. Okay, so once that was blended, I'm going to go ahead with a powder highlighter, and I have the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. I really like this. I've used quite a bit of it. If you can see, I've just distorted the design everywhere, and this is a really champagne-y pink kind of a highlighter. I'm going to take this Oriflame F04 fan brush and I'll just take some, not some actually, a lot, because I love highlighting my face. Can you see that? Can you see that glow? Oh my god. What is this product? This highlighter, guys, I'm telling you, you must invest in this. It's very inexpensive. And this is a must-have highlighter in your vanity, just as the Molten Gold from Maybelline. I just love highlighting my face. I would just paint my face in a highlighter if I could. And Yeah, can you see how dewy and how glowing my skin is looking? Oh my god. I just can't stop admiring my skin. Especially this highlighter. I really, really, really like this. And I would highly recommend you to give this highlighter a shot. Now we are done with the base makeup. So let's move on to the eyes. And for eyes, I would really keep it very, very simple because we're not going for a very glam look. This is a very wearable, everyday sort of dewy look. So I would be taking the Makeup Revolution Pretty Incredible palette. This is how it looks like. It's actually very pretty. It comes with 9 eyeshadows and 2 highlighters. I really don't use the highlighters because I don't know, this highlighter seems to be a lot darker for me, and this is a bit lighter for me. I really don't know. This is very whitish. So I tend to avoid the highlighters, but I really like the combination of the eyeshadows in here. So for stamping in the eyeshadows, I would be choosing this random brush which I had got from Shein. I actually got this eyeshadow brushes kit wherein there are different kinds of eyeshadow brushes. So this is a dome shaped fluffy brush, and it is used to stamp in the product and place the product very easily. So I think I would go for the shade First Class, which is this. This is a very matte shade. So I would just take a little bit of that. This eyeshadow palette is really pigmented. All the Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes are actually very, very pigmented. And you want to make sure that you dust off the excess. And I will just start to place the product on my eyelid like that and go in with circular motions. Can you see how pigmented it is? I would take in a bit more. I would take it all the way on my crease like so. I'll do the same thing on the other eye as well. I'm going to take the same shade First Class. Stamp it onto your outer corner and then in circular motions just take it inside. Don't worry if it looks patchy or something because we still haven't blended in the shadows. So I've placed in the shadow, and I would take this random brush because it has this very fluffy side, and this is very good for blending your shadows. So I'll just take this shadow and I will make sure that there are no creases or no patches. So just start blending in the shadow like that. You want to make sure that there are no harsh lines. So just keep blending. Even if it takes time, just keep blending your shadow in. You can go in with circular motions as well as this windshield wiper motions. And then you would notice that there are no harsh lines or creases or anything. This step might take some time, but you can take all your time you want. Just make sure that there are no creases or your eyeshadow would look very, very patchy. Once I'm done with that, I would go ahead with the same brush, and now since we have to concentrate the shadow in our outer corner, our outer V, and give the eyes a bit depth, I really like taking brushes like this. And I would take the shade Breathtaking, which is a bit darker than the previous shade. And I would just take a little bit of that, dust off the excess, and stamp in the product like so in the outer corner. And create a V like that. Can you see how easy it is? These eyeshadows are really pigmented, like really, really pigmented. I would repeat the same thing on the other side as well. So what I like to do is, this might seem patchy initially, but this step actually works. Stamping in the product and then blending it. I would then take the same brush, the same blending brush, and I would take first class a bit, not much, the previous shade, and I would just blend in with the previous color, like so. So that everything is just blending and it looks seamless. For the crease color, I think I'm going to take this shade called Exceptional, which is a goldeny shade. It is a shimmer shade. So, or the highlighter one, I'm actually confused. No, I think I'm going to stick with Exceptional. So, for the lids, or for the shimmery shades to be in particular, I really like to take my ring finger because the warmth of the fingers would just make sure that the eyeshadow blends in even better. So I'll just take the shade Exceptional, and can you see how pigmented it is? I'll just take in like that, and I would stamp in the product like so. Oh my god. I know it is all over the place, but that will all get blended in no time. But this is so pretty. It's so pigmented. The previous shades are not seeming proper, so I think I would have to go back to the shades. I would take the blending brush, take first class again, and I would blend it with the golden shade. I really like golden eyes. It's been a long time since I did a very golden eye look like this. Now, I am not going to do my brows because I have microbladed brows and they are just in shape almost all the time, except for just hair growth, the extra hair growth here and there, which I can just pluck it and I would be sorted. I have microbladed my brows. Yeah, so I don't have to touch my brows at least for another 3-4 years. They are already in shape, so I would be skipping my brows. But for highlighting the inner corners and highlighting the brow bone, I'm going to take I think this shade Out of This World, which is this highlighting shade. So I would take the other side of this brush, which has a very flat tip, because I can't reach my inner corners with the finger. So I just take the same shade, the same brush, but the other side, and I am going to just highlight the inner corners. This would automatically open up your eyes. Can you see that? And to balance out the upper and the lower eyelid, it is very essential that you take the same color and apply it on your low waterline as well. So I'm going to take this random brush again, which I got from Shein in that bundle. And I'm going to take the shade Breathtaking, the darker one. And this is a very concentrated brush, so I can focus onto the lower lash line. Like so. Don't worry if the line looks very stark. Now I really have very watery eyes. I have to be really careful not to poke my eyes, or even the eye makeup in general just makes my eyes really sensitive. Do the same thing again on the other side. I should have done this step before I applied the shadow in the inner corner, but it's okay. You just have to connect the upper and the lower lash line with the shadow so that it all looks very much put together and not like you have some different colors on your eyelids. Anyway, I'm going to take the blending brush again, and I'm going to take First Class, the first shade, and I would just be smoking this out. See, it all looks very much put together now. I totally forgot to highlight the brow bone, so I'm going to take the other side of the brush, take the same highlighting shade, dust off the excess. There's a lot of fallout from these palettes. Oh my god, this is so beaming. I always thought that this shade wouldn't be perfect enough for highlighting, but it's really good for highlighting the brow bones. Don't highlight the entire brow. You only have to highlight the brow bone. You only have to accentuate. This would make sure that your eyes look all lifted up. Now we're done with the eye makeup, and no, there's still the last step left, which is mascara. And for mascara, where's my mascara? I'll go grab my mascara and be right back. I have the L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. I've been using this mascara for such a long time, for so many months now. And I really like using this mascara. You would see in a while why I like using it. It is really nice. It just makes my lashes have all the volume and everything in the world. And what I like to do is, you are not supposed to pump it like this. You have to just wiggle it like this, and look up and just coat your lashes like so. Can you see how my lashes look instantly? Like, just see the difference between the two eyes. This mascara is really, really, really good. You don't even have to use any falsies. It would just make your lashes look like they're on steroids. And I think I have this mascara over here, but if this happens to you, just don't rush it. Just let that spot dry and I will show you how you can get rid of it. Anyway, I would do the same on the other eye. Can you see how my eyes look right now? They look so bigger than before. And whatever is left under the wand, I would just wiggle it onto my lower lash line. Eye makeup is totally complete and I really recommend you giving this mascara a shot. It is really good. If you want your eyes to just get all the volume, get all the love and just make them look so voluminous, so lifted, so lengthened and everything. And if you want to skip falsies, you can definitely give this mascara a shot. It is really good. Now coming to the last step, which is the lipstick. Before we move on to lipstick, I have to set all this into place and I would be using this L'Oreal Infallible Makeup Extender Setting Spray. I'll just shake it like that. And this is a very nice makeup extending spray, the makeup fixing spray. And it would just make sure that your makeup gets all meshed up and it looks all put together. So I'll just take a quick little shower and I should just shut up for now. Then you just have to fan everything down like so. And this would just make sure that all the powders onto your face get melted and your makeup just looks all seamless and put together. I would go ahead with the beauty blender and this would make sure that it picks up all the excess powders. Can you see how flawless this looks? So that is done and now we finally move on to the lipstick. For lipstick I have the L'Oreal Rouge Signature Matte Lip Ink in the shade 121 I Choose. I really like using these new launches by L'Oreal. Their lip inks, their name and the formula is totally contradictory. They are like lip ink, but you'll see in a while. They are so watery. They don't even feel like you've put anything on your lips. And look at their applicator. They have this doe foot applicator with a pointed tip which makes very easy for you to fill in your lips and reach even the harder areas. So I would just shut up. I usually like to go ahead with 2 layers of this lipstick. But if you want, you can just stop right here. This is just how I am. The finish of this lipstick is matte. It does take a minute or two to dry up, but it feels very, very water-like. It doesn't even feel like you have something on your lips. And here we finished this makeup tutorial right here. And this is the finished look. Let me know if you try this out or how did you like it. And this lipstick is seeming that it's not yet dried up completely, but it does settle down completely matte. Trust me, it has already started to settle down matte, and it doesn't stick. Doesn't feel like you have anything on your lips, and which is really good, which is really, really good, because I don't really want to have that feeling of wearing a lipstick but still want to have something on my lips. So this is exactly the lipstick to go for if you're just looking for a very lightweight yet a very opaque and matte lipstick, especially a liquid lipstick. It's very, very difficult to find liquid lipsticks which are entirely matte and also don't make your lips feel dry, and yeah, just don't make you feel like you have anything on your lips. And I really, really, really like how this makeup has turned out to be. This is very simple, very wearable, and you can totally wear this anywhere, even to college or work. You can just switch the makeup products, obviously. You can skip the eyeshadows entirely if you want. And you can switch the color of the lipstick or anything with whatever makeup products you have. And this is how it looks like, and I am totally loving this look. I don't really feel like washing it off, so I'm just going to wear this and roam around in the house. And this is very, very, very wearable. So yeah guys, this was all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know which is your favorite product, or if you have tried any of these products or want me to try any of the products. And I'll see you in my next video. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, and it would mean really a lot to me. And till then, bye bye, take care.